I finally feel prepped, planned, and ready to take on 2023. Let's talk all about it. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. In today's video, we're going to be resetting for the year of 2023. So what that means is we're going to talk about 2022 and talk about how I am prepping for 2023. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I thought that we would reflect on 2022 first. 2022 was an amazing year for both me and my husband, per the last conversation that we had where we talked about how 2022 went for each of us. And I would say that there were a lot of cool things that happened in 2022, but also some things that weren't so cool. So in recapping 2022 as a whole, I think that it was an amazing year. I think it was a spendy year, and you'll see that we're dialing back drastically on our budget as I share with you our annual budget and our goals for 2023. But all in all, I feel like we got a lot of wants met, got a lot of needs met. I can't think of a single regret, I guess, that I have for 2022. So that's pretty good. Let's talk about some favorites and also some not so favorites from 2022 before we dive into goals and our budget and vision board and all of that. So when talking favorites, I feel like it makes the most sense for me and for anyone involved for me to break them down into different categories. So let's talk some tech favorites. My favorite tech items were, of course, my Apple iPad, which I've had Apple iPads before, but I had them way back in the day when Apple Pencil wasn't a thing and all of that. So therefore, as you can imagine, the experience just wasn't the same back when I had like the first generation Apple iPad or whatever. So buying my iPad in December of 2021 and being able to use it and explore it in 2022 this year has been amazing. Similarly, my Apple Pencil, which goes along with the iPad. I mean, it doesn't have to, but you can get a pencil to go with your iPad. So those two have made for an amazing experience. I've also liked my new vlog camera, which is a Sony ZV-1. It has definitely expanded my horizons because I feel like the quality of the content when I shoot with that is completely different from the quality of my previous vlog camera that broke in half. The screen literally fell off this year, which is why I replaced it. So it's just been different navigating it, but it has been a nice surprise, I guess. I don't like change. I would have purchased the camera over the one that was broken, except I think it was the second one or third one that I've owned because I don't know, they might just be poorly built, but they shoot well. That was a Canon G7X Mark II. So I've had multiples of those, and I got that years and years and years ago. So I was thinking, let's upgrade to something that came out recently, and that is kind of what came of that. Similarly, I've loved my Panasonic G7. I've been shooting with this since the year that I joined YouTube, since this time 5 years ago. December of 2017 is when I got this, and it's been amazing. It even broke. I've had it repaired. I don't see this going away for a very long time. I just love this camera so much. I know how to use it. That's the most important thing. I know how to use it. I'm going to keep it. So those have been my favorite tech items. Additionally, digital planning using my iPad has been fun for me, especially the planner that I started working on myself, which I started working on my own digital planner in June. And since then, I've released kind of like a smaller, condensed, simple version of that. And you can download that for free. The link is in the description box, which I'm going to show that to you guys in a minute, my full setup. And then also, I have been enjoying the budget workbook that I also made as a companion to that simple planner that I released for free. So you can get your hands on both of those for free for eternity down in the description box. It'll take you to Dropbox, and you can download each of the planners from there. So one of my favorite leisure items or things was the anniversary trip that we took in November to Columbia, South Carolina. We don't live far from there. I mean, it's a hop, skip, and a jump, literally. And we've visited there multiple times, but we never stayed overnight. So staying downtown and being walking distance, from our hotel and all the other shenanigans that took place downtown was honestly super fun. Way more fun than I think we ever anticipated. We also went to Six Flags with my niece this summer using our educator's discount. So that was a fun time, just being able to go with her. I've read more books in this year than I have in probably all of my previous adult years post college. So reading has been something that I'm trying to get back into. We'll talk more about that later. Also, I have improved health and wellness, improved mental health, financial health, just improved overall, especially as I've been going to my different appointments, you know, my dental. I remember earlier this year I shared that I have a dental implant, which is a fake tooth, and I've had it for a long time, but it didn't register to me until I went to the dentist for my 6-month cleanup, I think this summer, when they were like, oh, everything looks good. And I was like, you know what? I've had this implant for a very long time, and you know, it's doing good. It could last eternity if I keep taking care of it well, or, you know, there's a lot of factors that go into teeth stuff, but it can last an eternity, which is the hope, because it costs thousands of dollars. But I've had no problems with it. You can see it right now, but you might not be able to tell which one it is. I'm not even going to tell you, although I have before, but I want you to be able to guess. But just having good reports from the dentist, and you know, I have good eyesight, 20/20. In fact, I got some good reports from my doctor. When I go, she tells me to work on different things and whatever, and so I just do those things, and they're proud of me and happy, and they wish that everyone would listen to their doctors like I do. So I've just had improved health and wellness. So I love that for me. Also, we took a brand trip in March to Omaha, Nebraska. The state of Nebraska invited us there and put us in a hotel and paid for everything and gave us money and all kind of fun stuff. And you would not believe. Now, granted, when we got to Omaha, Nebraska, my husband and I were typing in, you know, hood clubs, hood this and that and the third. So we were looking for the ethnic stuff, but you wouldn't believe it was actually very easy to find. And we had a blast just with the group, meeting new creators and whatever, building relationships with them, be it professional or personal. And just Omaha, Nebraska in general was very shocking for us. It was shockingly probably one of the best trips, or one of our favorite places that we've been in a long time. Don't sleep on Omaha, Nebraska. Truly, we were mind blown. And if it was whack, I would have told y'all that. But it was pretty fun. It was exceptionally fun, actually. Also, we did a private wine tasting in our home. So we bought our home in December of 2019, and we all know what happened in early 2020. So we had one housewarming party for like coworkers, and then we were gonna have a couple more, just like parties, but also housewarming. You don't have to bring us gifts, just come celebrate with us because we have a house and we can host, that type of thing. And the rest of them were canceled, and then we didn't technically have a gathering until this wine tasting party that we had in October. We decided to invite over our closest friends and family members, pay for like a company to come in and do a wine tasting and just kind of ball out, if you will, because we hadn't done so prior to. That was super fun. Everybody loved it. In addition to that, I feel like we've had increased family and friend time this year. I could be delusional because for 2 years, you know, quarantine and all of that, we didn't hang out much. But to me, it just felt like we were having a good time. We were having more involvement with our friends and family members this year. So I'm going to run through the rest of these favorites real quick, just for time purposes. For my favorite beauty items, hands down, my capsule wardrobe. I built a capsule wardrobe in 2022 this year, and everything in my closet fits me. I like everything in my closet. I can pair everything together. 10 out of 10 would recommend a capsule wardrobe. Also, giving up foundation. I'd been wearing foundation only for like a few years, maybe like 5 years, maybe 5.5 years. I've been wearing foundation about as long as I've been on YouTube, actually. But I decided to give it up in June, May, July, somewhere around the middle of the year, just because for the preservation of my skin, truly. I don't know. We got a pool, an in-ground, not just kidding, an above ground pool this summer, partially to help entertain my needs, and you know, it's a couple $100. Better to buy that than be out in the sun at random places sweating half to death, you know, going to free activities or spending money out in the world. So it made sense financially. But I don't know, the more that I swam and all of that regularly just in my backyard, the more that I thought I should probably, you know, kind of up the ante with taking care of my skin. So I ditched foundation, and then I added in a retinol I've been using sunscreen, but I've been taking it way more seriously now. So now I have a full-blown skincare routine, and those have been my favorite beauty items. For food, nothing too major. I discovered this place and they had a flight of mimosas, so that was fun. Never had one of those. And then also, when we were in Colombia, we went on this food tour and it was so fun. Like, we want to go back, but right now it's freezing cold, but we want to go back and do multiples, because the cool thing is, not the same food isn't guaranteed or to be shared during each tour, nor are the same restaurants guaranteed to participate. Or even if there are the same restaurants, they might give something different. So basically, it's not a tour where you go on and if you go multiple times, it's going to be the exact same experience. It can be vastly different. So we want to go on more. As for lifestyle, my friend had a baby earlier this year, so I have been, on my TIA duties. They are Black and Hispanic, and I have, just been spending time with him and getting to know him, especially as a youngster. Obviously, he'll be around forever, and I'll be around, and it's just the beginnings, the makings of, a relationship. And I love kids, contrary to what people probably believe, because I don't have any, but I really love kids, and I just like kids. So that has been fun. Also, my niece staying with us for the summer was fun. We bought a pool. My husband recently bought a pool table, which is his Christmas gift to himself. I cannot recall any large purchase that I made, like a pool table. So that's a win for me. A win is a win. I bought this iPad last year in December, but outside of that, I haven't made any large purchases. So that's pretty good for me. I can't recall any anyway. I don't think I did. And then also, I feel like I worked a lot on solidifying friendships and trying to cater to them. Friendships is a little difficult for me now because 7 years ago, I think, I moved here, which is where my husband is from. I didn't know anyone but him. And I've made some friends, but I feel like it puts a strain on my friends that I moved away from, if that makes sense, because I can't see them regularly. So navigating friendships has always been difficult for me, because I just feel like, ideally, if I had my way, everyone who I know and love would live like on the same street, or at least in the same city or the same state, at least, not miles and miles away. So just navigating being away from friends and family, there's beauty in being miles apart, but also a part of me is like, what is life if you're not surrounded by the people you love the most constantly? So anyway, I've worked on at least solidifying my friendships here. That's what I meant to say. At least that's one thing that I have accomplished. I can only, call and text and visit friends and family members so much who don't live here. But I mean, same thing with those who live here. But at least I feel like I got the opportunity to get to know people better and to form more of a sisterhood with the friends that I do have here, because I don't think I did that prior. I couldn't say last year that I have 2 close friends that live here, kind of thing. So anyway, that is a wrap up of my 2022 favorites. Let's talk about my not so favorites. My not so favorites is studying or having anything to do with this clinical exam. I don't like studying. I don't like school. I know I have a master's degree. I know I graduated with honors. I graduated with honors from high school, undergrad, and grad school, but you should know that it's not my favorite. Also, is that my husband coming in? Possibly. Also, I didn't hit some of the goals, which we'll talk about. So not hitting some of my goals is obviously not so great. I got really sick. I had some kind of viral infection back right after Thanksgiving. It was horrible. I'm never sick. Even before that was going around right now, I never was sick. And so just being sick is horrible. I was sick for weeks. And also my job. I started this new job in January. Hallelujah, I've made it until the end of the year, but it has been very interesting. I view work as a place where I kind of go and I put forth my best work, because I feel like I do good work and then I just come home. I don't view work as more than that, like something that I'm obsessing over or working long hours for or anything like that. I have strict boundaries when it comes to work. But I just have to say that even with, not having work friends, I'm kind of making one, not having anybody who I'm really close with at work or whatever, it has been very new and different for me given all of my previous jobs. So this is the first job where, I'm working in public education. So It's a lot of people. I go to 7 different schools. I have lots of different kids. Some kids I have, 3 at one school, 2 at this school, 1 at this school, 15 at this school, 18 at this school. So I'm kind of bouncing around as a related service provider, and it's been very interesting, a very difficult adjustment, I do want to say. And then also, of course, last month after our anniversary trip, we had our largest marital or relationship conflict, I would say. So that was interesting, but we're through it now. It's fine. Wasn't, anything super duper major in the grand scheme of things, but it definitely was very interesting. Let's go ahead and move now into my 2022 annual goals and my 2023 annual goals. So I cannot confidently say whether I even shared my 2022 personal goals, but I did share my 2022 financial goals. But either way, we're going to talk about the personal goals and the financial goals and talk about if we met them. So the first one was to max out both of our Roth IRAs, which would have been $12,000. We failed at that. As of right now, we are at $7,000 or $3,500 a piece instead of $6,000 a piece. So we are closer to it being completed than failed, but we did not meet that goal. We wanted to invest $12,000 in a brokerage account. We invested $7,000. Again, technically closer to meeting it than not meeting it, but we technically didn't meet it. We wanted to contribute 15% of our gross paychecks to retirement, which we did. And the purpose of maxing out our Roth IRAs and investing in our brokerage, is because we are in a position to where our income minus our household expenses such as shopping and mortgage and all of that allows for money to be left over. So we choose to put that towards retirement. That's the goal. So anyway, I wanted to invest $1,000 independently, and I did do that. Yay for that. For my next goal, we wanted to save $6,000 in cash. Absolutely not. We wanted to pay off one debt, and we didn't do that because the student loans are in a forbearance. So we'll talk about that in a minute. We wanted to refinance our mortgage, but didn't really get around to it. So we didn't do that. We wanted to prep for baby budgets, which means that basically just be intentional about this past year in my health and our home and our finances, and even trying to figure out what we even really want out of life just in general, because I don't know, adulting is something else. So we did do that. I feel like we've gotten very far. I feel like if we had a baby today, I would be fine. If you would have asked me that 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, I would have been not fine at the thought of that, which I think if it's in my capability, I should be fine with the thought of becoming someone's parent. The beauty is this version of me and my husband is far better than the version of us 10, 15, 20 years ago. So I love that for our soon upcoming future child. Next up, I wanted to obtain my independent licensure. Did not do that. I wanted to complete my new business venture, which I forgot what this even was, but now I remember, and I did not do that. I wanted to learn my new role and increase my comfort level. I have done that. I'm comfortable in my new role. I know what I'm doing now, finally, after a year. It's still sticky. And then also I wanted to finish furnishing the house by buying a mirror. Didn't do that. A dresser. Didn't do that. And a console. Did do that because we turned something else into a console. So at this point, we just have a few things left to buy for this house, but let's talk about that now. Okay, let's talk about our 2023 goals and intentions. And by our, I really mean my, and by goals, I mean there are some things that I really am going to work towards because I want to accomplish it or them. And then there are some that I intend to do, and if I don't do it, it's not that big of a deal, such as most of my social media goals. So first up, for social media and business, I want to grow my Instagram to 20 to 25K. I'll be okay with any 20 something number basically at the end of 2023. I also want to grow my YouTube to 100,000. I'm very close, and I love that for me. So I'm hoping that 2023 will be the year. I feel like it should be the year. we'll have to see. Also, I want to, as a part of my social media / business brand stuff, I want to publish 8 videos per month on YouTube, which is 2 per week, which is my sweet spot. So that's an intention. I'm going to do that probably 9 times out of 10. I want to secure 12 sponsorships on YouTube, which shakes out to be 1 a month. I think I normally shoot for 2 a month, but I'd be happy with 1 a month. That would tickle my fancy. I also want to at least finish my new business outline. I realize finishing the new business may not happen. In my head, I was going to work on it this past summer because I had 2.5 months off of work, but it didn't happen. So at least I could finish the outline and like mapping it out. That's pretty much, even if it doesn't roll out, at least it'll be ready to roll out. And then I think I want to start posting 1 Instagram reel per week. And I think I want that to be like something that maybe doesn't make it to my YouTube channel. So it could be a weekly plan with me, which I don't do those weekly anymore. It could be a daily plan with me, which I don't do those really anymore at all. It could be something like that. So it takes no time to take little clips of something that I'm already doing, but that's the only way I'll be able to do a reel. I'm not going to be pulling reels out of the air, not into it. Next up, for personal, my big goal is to lose 25 pounds. And I want to do that by exercising for 30 plus minutes at least 4 times weekly. That's pretty much an intention because at this point in my life, my philosophy, although it kind of has always been, but my philosophy now is to work out every other day. And by doing that, there's so many benefits. Even when you don't work out, if you work out, there are lasting benefits for, a day or 2 after that workout. So my rationale is to work out every other day. That seems to be helpful in me staying or getting healthy. Also, I want to buy an area rug for this room, the living room, and then a dresser or a console for the landing upstairs. And then at which case, this house will be about as furnished as it's going to get because I'm not buying anything after that. I did have a rug in here. It was cream. It was before we got a dog. It was before people started coming over to visit and messing up my rug by having accidents of various sorts. We're not going to get into it, but know that it has nothing to do with their shoes being on. It was before it essentially got ruined by the dog and her bodily functions and other people. It's a mess. So I'm over it. I do want to get something else that's maybe moody in a darker color. So I have one picked out, but it's a lot of money for an area rug, so I'll have to revisit that. I want to pass my clinical exam and move up to the highest level of a clinician that I can be, given my chosen career path. Cross your fingers for that. I think in my head, I want to secure a new job. By I mean that job opportunities have been coming to me from all sorts of different sectors. People that I know personally asking me to come work for them and in their department or here or there, but I'm gonna have to severely figure out what I really want. Right now I'm kind of going through the motions. I know that this job isn't something that I would work long term, but I'm kind of going through the motions. But the major part of this is that ideally I wouldn't really leave this job until a greater job comes to be. Basically, when my upcoming year, my district's going to essentially year-round school, and so my husband's isn't. So ideally, I would land a job in his district so that works out better for our schedule, but we'll have to see. That's ideally what will happen, but I don't know. But I have no idea. Stay tuned for that. Also, I want to read at least 4 books, which is going to be 1 more from what I read in 2022. I'm not one a quarter. Really, I should be doing like 1 every couple weeks, 1 a week, at least once a month. But we're going to do 4 books because no need to be too ambitious out here. And then I also want to host friends and family members at least 4 times. I feel like we maybe did that in 2022 with like smaller little hangout functions and then the wine tasting, and then we had a Christmas party, but I'm not sure. But 4 times in the new year. Financial goals. We want at least $30,000 of our net pay to go to money goals, and you'll see that in a minute when we get to the annual budget. But we want to invest $2,000 per month towards FIRE. We just met with our financial advisor. That's what we agreed on. I want to invest $1,000 independently. That means on my own. Our financial advisor invests the other money. And I want to do 1,000 because I think I'm going to do this every year. And then at the end of each year, I'll have Christmas money. That's my goal. Although we don't really do much for Christmas, but we do we like tipping the bill around Christmas time. Just tip someone. Well, we tipped more than the bill recently when we went out to eat for a date. And we like giving to other people, Secret Santa, all that kind of stuff. We don't really care about us as adults, as a couple exchanging gifts, so on and so forth. So that could be a thing. Also, we want to invest 15% of our paychecks, pay down our car loan to half of what it is essentially. But I don't know that that's going to happen. We were thinking about trying to pay off our car. So I think I just lied on that. I think that we're not going to be able to do that. I think we'll pay down our car loan. Let's leave it at that. But we're going to, okay, so here's the thing. The goal is if we have extra income, extra money, we're going to put that towards the car. That's the goal. But as it stands right now, we're not going to be able to get it down to 7,000 unless we work really, really hard. Stay tuned. It could be a thing. And then we want to pay off my husband's student loans. Of course, more on that at the end of the forbearance, which is in June or whenever they make a decision. I think 60 days after they make a decision or 2 months after that. Okay, so let's talk now about our annual budget. Yeah, our annual budget. Then we're going to flip through the 2 planners that I'm currently going to be using for 2023. And then I think we're going to create a vision board. I've never created one on my iPad, I don't think, but I think we're going to do that. But let's talk about our annual budget. Okay, so you should be seeing our annual budget, and you may not be seeing my face, but this is our 2023 family budget. For all intents and purposes, we are going to be, well, we are trying to force ourselves to live off of a certain salary, which is no more than $80,000. That's the goal. That's how much we want to live off of in order to meet the financial goals that we've created. Again, if we can pay off our car, if we can do all these other fancy, wonderful things, then we can do that. But these are the things that are pretty much like non-negotiables, and there's a certain income that we need to hit these goals. So I have, hopefully you're seeing what I'm doing. I have our income listed up here. And for purposes of this video, I just put all of our income at the top where my name is. But obviously we both work full-time outside the home and have side hustles or whatever. So I'm not going to be bringing in all of the income is what I'm trying to say. But for privacy reasons, I just put all of the income in my category for my income. So the whole purpose of this is that, again, we're going to try to force ourselves to live off of $6,500 per month as a net income. If we do that, then our annual income for the year is going to be $78,000. Again, we're trying to do 80,000 or less just because I know there's inflation and all of that, but us spending beyond 80,000 on personal stuff is bizarre. Of course, we're going to earn more money than this technically, but you know, we have business expenses and all of that kind of stuff. And the fact of the matter is, for personal spending, anything beyond $78,000, I think for the 3 of us is not acceptable. So let's talk about where that money is going to go in any given month. So our mortgage is $1,520.99. We have security, pest control, electricity. Our cell phones are actually, it's a weird thing. So my cell phone bill, we have Mint Mobile. My cell phone bill is paid up until April of next year, which is why you see, let me see, come on. Which is why you see the cell phone bill due in April. And then my husband's, we pay every 3 months. And in doing so, we get discounts. So ideally, we would both pay them on a yearly basis. But I did the math and I don't know that paying for a year is drastically different than paying for like 3 months at a time or 6 months at a time. I need to revisit it, but essentially I'm going to pay my cell phone bill for the entire year in April. So I won't pay a bill again until 2024. I think I may do the same thing for my husband in April too, but as it stands, we will pay his cell phone bill every 3 months. So in February, May, August, and November. We have Internet, which is currently $60.80. Typically we get like a 2-year contract and we lock into a certain price, and then that changes. So then at that point I have to call AT&T and complain and see if I can get a new deal and a new contract that will lock us into a lower price. So currently it's $60.80. I'm thinking this year is the year that I'll have to call in and try to finagle a lower internet bill. But for all intents and purposes, as it stands, $60.80. Next up, we have water sewer, which fluctuates. And in the summer, you know, when we filled up our pool, it was a little bit more. So it's fluctuating, but typically it's $55.67, or that's what it's been for the last few months. So that's what I have in here for the water bill. Our cable is $40. That's Sling TV, which just went up to $40 from $35. I have our student loans in here. However, I don't know, you know, really anything about what's going to be happening with them. I know that if we are planning to pay my husband's off in June, then that means that in July, from then on, he shouldn't have a payment. So I have this $250 here for me, and I don't know if that's what my student loan payment would be or not. I just am guessing, so I just put in $250, so we'll have to wait and see. I also have life insurance in here, which we're locked in for a long time with that price, so $42.19 for the both of us. Pet insurance is $62.87, and actually, you are looking at... Okay, so here's the thing. In February, we actually rescued her in January of last year. And so what's supposed to happen is that in February, after we've, you know, for our February payment, that'll be her, will that be 2 years? I guess. Anyway, every year there's a new price, and it happens in February after we paid the January bill. So it's supposed to go down, the people said. So I'm not 100% sure what is going to go down to. This is what it was previously. So I just put 55.35. It should go down because something's going to fall off. There's something that's a part of her insurance plan, wellness plan, that's going to fall off, and it's supposed to go down, but I'm not really sure. So I'm just going to budget 55.35 to be on the safe side. I should probably budget $62.87, but I'm not really sure about that. Car payment locked in at a certain price, $314.34. Netflix currently $9.99. We can only stream on one TV. We have Amazon Music, which went up recently to $15.99. We have our HOA fees that are due every January. They are $200, but if we pay for them online using a credit card or something, then we have to pay a processing fee. So it was $207 in January of this year. However, I don't think we have an HOA, because if so, they're doing a horrible job. We used to have one, but I don't think we have one now, because this place is, people are doing all kind of crazy stuff. Anyway, retirement, which we treat as a bill, that is going to be actually due on the 3rd. There's different days that we can have it come out. So we're going to do the 25th per our conversation that we just had with our financial advisor. And that's going to be $2,000 every month. And that means that the total for our bills is $4,500, which that means that for retirement and all of our bills, we pay $4,500 roughly per month. Now let's talk about expenses. No, let's talk about sinking funds. So for sinking funds, I'm getting fancy with this. There are a number of so basically, I'm not going to be saving for weird stuff. It's not weird, but to me it's weird. I'm not going to be saving for weird stuff like car maintenance or other stuff like that. I'm only going to save, that money will just come out of our shopping budget whenever that time comes, which we'll talk about that in a minute. I'm just going to save for our annual or biannual subscriptions. That's it. Anything else I'm not saving for, and that's going to have to come out of our shopping budget. And I think that that makes the most sense, because we'll talk about it more once I get to the shopping category. But for our sinking funds, we are going to save a total of $225 per month. We're going to save $166.50 towards our car insurance. We pay our car insurance every 6 months, and it has been somewhere between like $700 to $1,000. I don't know why. I guess inflation is why it's fluctuated a good bit, but somewhere like that amount. So we're basically going to save $166.50, which if you do the math on $166.50 and you do it for 6 months, then you get $9.99 and basically $1,000. So we're gonna save $1,000 every 6 months, or we're gonna save $2,000 each year. So if we start saving now, then by June, we'll be able to pay the $1,000, assuming it's $1,000 or less, for our car insurance. Also, in addition to that, we have, what else do we have? We have Walmart Plus, which we pay for each June. Well, this is our first year having it, but it's $98 a month. So we're gonna save, $98 a year. So we're gonna save $8 a month for that. For Sirius XM, which is the music that we listen to in our car, that normally turns out to be somewhere between like 50 to 60 or so every 6 months. So we're gonna save, well, this one was like 44, I think, like 40 to 60. So we're gonna save $850 each month for that. For termite control, that's $300 a year. So we're gonna save $25 per month for that. And for our HOA fees, which we may or may not have, we're gonna save $17 per month for that. So those are gonna be our sinking funds every month. I am just going to put in $225 of cash into our sinking funds account. I'm not gonna be saving up for birthdays and all of that. Again, we'll talk about that in a minute. So for extra savings, like I mentioned, I want to invest $1,000 independently. So every week I'm gonna have $20 withdrawn from our main bank account and invest it, which is what I did this year. And at the end of the year, it was about $1,000. So I'm hoping the same for next year. I can also save this in cash, but I am loving experimenting and doing investing on my own. So I'm gonna just invest it. So that's gonna be about $100 a month, typically, maybe 80 to 100. And then I have nothing for extra debt. So if you come up here back to shopping, you'll see that for January, we should have $1,631.99 left over. Well, for that reason alone, I feel like there's a lot of things that can happen. So with our shopping budget, we're gonna use that for groceries, date nights, miscellaneous, gift giving to people or ourselves, food for our dogs, treats for our dogs, all the things. Now with inflation, we're kind of playing with fire with $1,600. But I truly believe that if we do groceries at, let's say, $150 a week, that might put us at about $600 for the month. And that gives us technically about $1,000 for everything else. That's frivolous stuff, because all we have to do each month is pay our bills and eat anything and put gas in our car. Anything other than, and feed our dog, but I consider her a part of eating. Anything beyond that is for miscellaneous stuff and date nights and things that we don't really have to do. So my goal is, if we have a car problem or something that comes up and it's $200, well, we have $1,600, so we should have enough, in theory, to cover this $200 car repair or this $400 car repair. Or the beauty is, if we don't spend all of the money, which the hope is that we don't each month, then we can put whatever's left in saving. And so we can have sinking funds, but it's not gonna be anything that I'm stressing about. So I think that's what the plan is going to be. $1,600, it's gonna vary each month, like in March, because I think in March, we don't have a cell phone bill and stuff like that. So it's gonna vary each month, but in March, as an example, it's almost $1,900. In some months, it's $1,700 or something like that. So technically we have a lot of wiggle room. So I think that's what the plan is. Also, if we have money left over, again, we can save it. We can put it in sinking funds. We can invest it. We can put it towards debt. We can choose to do what we want to do with it. We could also blow through it and spend every last dime of it on travel or anything else frivolous. But that's the plan. So wish us luck. So that's what we are planning to do. Our car loan balance as of right now is $14,781. So our hope is to get the car loan paid down a good bit, but we'll have to see about that. So you can kind of ignore that. That's what we hope to do, but we're not sure that we will. And then my husband's student loans are about $12,000. So we'll have to see after this forbearance what is to come with that. But of course, the hope is to go ahead and pay off his student loans. And the cool thing over here is that I do have a section for notes. So car insurance due June and December. $1,000 each. HOA fees due in January. I have 225, but really it's 207, but I just kind of rounded it up to 225. It's not really, I mean, I'd rather round up when it comes to saving or, you know, trying to save for a certain amount for something rather than rounding down. So, you know, technically, if I wanted to really round it, it's closer to 200, but 225 for all intents and purposes. XM Radio with the 0 is going to be due in April and October. Walmart Plus due in June. My cell phone due in April. My husband's due February, May, August, and November. And then Termite Control due in December. So together we'll put $18,000 of that $78,000 is going to go to our mortgage. $2,000 is going to go to whatever this $200 is. Oh, potentially electric. I tried to also put in here for electricity what I think it'll be in the higher months based on past records and stuff like that. So not every, I don't know, we'll have to see about that, but I just tried to guesstimate. Let's see. $24,000 is scheduled to go to our joint brokerage, and then $55,000 is going to go to all of our bills, and almost $19,000 to shopping. Whoo, see, that's a lot of money, right? If you put it like that, that's a lot of money. That's also for our allowances and stuff too. So that's a lot of money. $19,000 potentially going to shopping. That's why I want that to be really maybe like $15,000 or $14,000, and then the rest either put towards debt or saved or something like that. Anyway, you can see the math here. I guess I don't have to spell it out, but $55,000 is going towards our bills plus our extra retirement, and then almost $23,000 going towards shopping, sinking funds, extra savings. And that is our 2023 annual budget. Okay, so hopefully you guys, this is going to work out the way that I want to work it out. I want to pop up my planners over here. So as of right now, I'm going to be digitally planning. Again, like I mentioned in my previous video for my 2023 planner and organization system, my life, my husband's life, our lives tend to get hectic around Q4. So in Q4, I may bust out a physical planner just for added mental stability, but as it stands right now, I'm going to be using digital planning until further notice. So let's flip through the Simple Planner, Volume 1. This is available for free, link in the description. So I put a little sticky note in here because I need to sign my letter of intent at some point in January. So I just like putting, you know, little reminders and stuff on the given months. So this is my January calendar. There's a place for goals and tasks. This is my weekly overview. This is the daily overview. This is a mood board. This is a monthly reflection. This is notes. And this is a blank page. And then it goes to February. So let's go to December now because I've already used it. So this is December. And just to kind of show you what it would look like if you want to grab it or just know what's happening. This is my current mood board. My monthly reflection with my habit trackers down here at the bottom. And my notes in the blank page, and then that's it. So that's because I'm in the December. So anyway, more digital planning videos coming soon, more 2023 prep videos coming soon as well. Let's look at this budget workbook, which is kind of like a financial spin-off of that planner that we just looked at. This is the monthly calendar. So it doesn't have January and all of that at the bottom, just because the goal is actually, if one wanted to, you can just copy these pages and put them in the Simple Planner. Like if I wanted to, for January, add in a monthly calendar, this monthly calendar for January, I could copy this here, this whole page, and then paste it here. So I could have my personal calendar and then my budget calendar after it if I wanted to. So that's why I didn't put a lot of time and energy into this free planner and, you know, making it hyperlinked and all of that, because the intention is to copy and paste into the Simple Planner. Anyway, this is how I'm going to be using this. This is January, actually. Monthly budget for January, which coming up with these monthly budgets is cake because I put them in Excel. So when it's time to actually finalize the monthly budget, it's super easy to do because I already have the preliminary work done in the Excel spreadsheet. This is a savings challenge that I recently made. Love that for me. So this is saving $1,000. Like I mentioned, I'm going to try to save/invest. The plan is to save/invest $1,000 in 2023. So every time I get $20, let me just show y'all. Every time I save $20 or it's automatically withdrawn from our account, because that's what's going to happen, I am just going to fill in the little piggy, and you can put more time and energy into filling this out nicely. Let's actually go to this. And then it can be a cute thing. You can make it darker, like a darker highlight, whatever the case is. And so that's my little piggy colored in. And then once I make it all the way across here, because 20 times 5 is 100, I can fill this in, which is like just being able to fill in a higher number or a higher amount makes it a little more real than spending a bunch of time, you know, like filling in 20s. Just added motivation, I guess. Once I can fill in 100 or 200 or 300, that just sits better than just filling in a bunch of 20s. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense, but in my head, that's going to be pretty good motivation. Okay, I'm erasing that. And let's go to the next page, which is also fun. I recently made this, which is an investing challenge. So since we do 2,000 a month, 4, 8, 12, 16, 2,000, each month we should be at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Did I do this right? Oh yeah, I did. I think I did this right. Every month we should be able to mark off 2,000. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. The discrepancy is that we are actually going to, if we do 2,000 a month times 12, that's actually 24,000. However, sometimes we are over investing, and some months we just skip, like in the summer, we just skip the whole summer, you know, skip both months in the summer and spend the 2,000 doing whatever. Or around Christmas, sometimes we are known to skip, but we normally skip a couple months, and they're for good reasons, maybe. And that's another thing that I wanted to mention. If we want to go on some trip, let's say, we can be like, okay, well, let's plan this trip for this month, and we'll just skip our retirement that month, and all will be right with the world. Our additional retirement, or our additional investing. So this is 20,000, but the goal technically is set up for 24, but personally 20,000 at minimum is fine with me. So that's gonna be fun. And then this also comes with expense trackers. This planner doesn't come with the savings challenge and the investing challenge. However, because I'm feeling generous, I'm gonna link them both. I'm gonna add them both to the Dropbox. Follow that Dropbox. I think you can follow the Dropbox. Follow that because, or you know, keep up on here or something, because as I make little stuff throughout the year, I plan to add it in here if I make stuff. Understand that I may not be making a lot of things, but if I make little things, I plan to just add them to the Dropbox. So if you want to get your hands on these too, which you can also just print them and put them on your refrigerator or in your planner or whatever and check them off or fill them in or whatever. It doesn't have to be digital. So those are going to be free down in the description. Also, we have an expense tracker, which is a part of the planner. And I think I put 5 or 6 of them in here, which is too much. I don't know that I'm going to track every expense, but I think what I may do, I definitely don't need, I probably need 3 pages. What I am going to do is, oops, yeah, move the trash. What I think I am going to do is track our shopping category. Yeah, that's what I think I'm going to do. Even 3 is a bit much. Let's do 2. That sits better with my spirit. Let's do 2 expense trackers. Okay. What? Why is this? Why are there so many? Move to trash. 1, 2. Okay, 2. So if you want to use this like its own separate budget planner, then what you would do is you would just copy the pages and paste them. So essentially, whenever you want to do February, I like going, so I wouldn't put my February back here at the back of this behind January. I would actually put my February in front, and therefore as the month goes on, and gets further away from you, you're basically staying current. So I would duplicate this page and all of these other pages, and I would put them in the front of this planner. So therefore February, you know, when we get to February is at the front of my planner. March, so when I open it up, I'm going straight to it. That's kind of the best way to do it with hyperlinked pages. Of course, you can come up here to thumbnails and then just go to, because if there were more pages here, it would be more thumbnails, and you could easily get to where you need to get from here. But that's probably what I would do. So those are my planners. Now, I feel like this video is for sure like 100 minutes long, but I think we need to do our vision board. So I think we're gonna do that. Okay, so I finished my 2023 vision board. I feel like it may have been more trouble than what it was really worth, but I'll pop it up here. And I do feel like at least that I have successfully navigated Pinterest for the very first time. And this is technically the first time that I've made a vision board in my digital planner. I have been making mood boards each month. I've been doing that for, I think, for the past year since I've been digitally planning. But anyway, it's kind of cute. I like it. Kind of aesthetic, kind of cute representation of becoming financially free, my one little word, a furnished house, iPad and accessories and planner goods, reading, working out, and cute affirmations. So I do at least like it. So that is going to be it for this video. I feel really good moving into 2023. I hope that you guys liked this video. If you did, give it a like, subscribe if you're new and if you're liking what you're seeing, and I will catch you guys right back here in a few days in a brand new video. Bye guys.